Welcome back in another hump day, my friends, and welcome back into Fantasy Football Weekly, and welcome to the show. I'm David Humpman, right there, CEO Israel Rivera, and welcome most people Fantasy Football playoff season, including for Mr. Israel Rivera, who sneaked into the playoffs, giving Rodney the thumping this past week. So kudos to you on getting into the playoffs in my league. I secured a first-round bye, so I'm pretty happy about that. How are things going on in the fantasy world for you, Mr. Rivera?
You know what, man? It's been a down year. That's probably the only league I'm in the playoffs in. I pretty much have thrown in the white flag when it comes to fantasy football this year so far. But I'm still setting my lineups, even though I'm in the consolation bracket. So still having fun with it.
Yeah, and I'm the number 2 seed. I mean, I got beat down bad by Ed in 2 weeks in a row. And I got totally dismantled in AJ's league in the playoffs. I put up like 60 fantasy points in the. I was the number 1 seed, and I just got shredded. Like it was not. That game was not close.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy
Yeah.
how I honestly think Andy's probably going to win that league
Man,
this
Andy won
year
that league
again.
after all the stuff that happened at the beginning of the year, dude. But yeah,
I
let's
don't
just
even
swing
want to
right
talk
into.
about it.
Let's swing right into it. Let's start. We got week number 16. Hopefully, you guys are all on the path to make it to the fantasy football championship. Let's talk about them quarterbacks. My quarterback number 1 is the same as yours. I got Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen keeps it rolling. Josh Allen has been money so far this season, and they're in a must-win situation where they got to win every single game. Josh Allen will put up big numbers, both through the air and on the ground. 2, Justin Fields. Yeah, I'm slipping the Kool-Aid. Also, the Arizona Cardinals, not all that good. 3, Patrick Mahomes. I don't think Patrick Mahomes will have to have a great game to beat the Raiders, but I think Patrick Mahomes will want to have a great game. 4, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, he's been not that good the last couple of weeks. If it wasn't for his rushing touchdowns bailing him out, he's borderline like unstartable. 5, Dak Prescott. 6, Jared Goff. 7, your boy Jordan Love, going up against a bad Carolina Panthers team. Jordan Love should put up a pretty good performance there. And then I got back-to-back. I got Lamar Jackson and Brock Purdy back-to-back in my rankings. And then Russell Wilson rounding out my top 10. And then my outside looking in, I got Kyler Murray going up against my Chicago Bears, Gardner Minshew. He's also my sneaky and daily at 5,900. And then I got Tua Tagovailoa going up against the Dallas Cowboys. I think that Miami I think that'll be a high-scoring game. I think both of those guys are worth putting in your lineup when it comes to the quarterback position.
Yeah, man. I do agree with you about Jalen Hurts, man. I mean, he's fallen this last few weeks. I mean, his quarterback play has been less than stellar. And yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the only thing is if they get close down into the red zone, that he's probably going to punch it in, right? Not sure if it has to do with the concussion. I don't even know what the hell protocol they did on him that day, but I don't know if it had to do with that injury that he had or suffered a few weeks back. But he hasn't been the same quarterback, and I just think this just hasn't been the same Eagles team. They just haven't been playing with the same type of efficiency offensively. They haven't been able to run the football.
Defense as well. I mean, defensively too. Like they're giving up a lot more points. Like they're not playing with the lead as much as they've been in past seasons. Last year.
Yeah. But when I talk about, like, when I look at it offensively, they just haven't been able to run the football with DeAndre Swift. I mean, you brought in DeAndre Swift, and it looks like they ran the football a lot better with Miles Sanders. I mean, DeAndre Swift has had spots, this year where he's looked good. I just don't know. I don't see the commitment to the running game, and AJ Brown has definitely cooled off.
Well, I think another thing is when you pay a guy $50 million a year, you make him the highest paid quarterback in the league. Like it's kind of like, yeah, we kind of need to use his arm. Like it's like the running backs kind of fall to the wayside a little bit. But
yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So number 1, it's Josh Allen. Anytime you go against a team that just let Aiden O'Connell throw for 4 touchdowns and put up a
63 points.
a 63 steamer on you, you're going to be the number 1 quarterback. I am surprised that Brandon Staley still has a job to this day.
No, he doesn't.
Oh no,
he'll fire the next day.
I'm glad. I thought he was still. That's how far. That's how I didn't even pay attention to that.
He got fired the next day.
The next day, and he should have been fired that same day. How about that?
They should have fired him that same day. Fired him at halftime, like Richard Sherman said in the broadcast.
They should have fired him at halftime. So yeah. Anytime you put up a 60 steamer against that defense, it's a wrap. And number 2, Dak Prescott. Number 3, Justin Fields going up against the Arizona Cardinals. That's not a good defense at all. Number 4, I got Patrick Mahomes going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, I think Patrick Mahomes, they always have a pretty good game against the Raiders, and I think they really want to get some. They want to keep that lead in the AFC West. I know that the Broncos have lost a couple games here, so they want to probably pretty much stamp their stranglefoot strength. They want to stamp their lead
Stranglehold.
there in the AFC West.
They also want to try to get back into the mix on the number 1 seed in the AFC, which will be
right. That too.
tall tale.
At number five, yeah, Jalen Hurts. He's fallen down considerably in the last couple of weeks. I mean, as we've said, his passing ability. He's pretty much running back dependent. If like, let's say, if you're owner of Gus Edwards, you're not owning or starting Gus Edwards because he's going to give you yards. Gus Edwards, when he gets in the red zone, he's going to score touchdowns, right? Because that's what the Gus bus does, right? Jalen Hurts, he has the tush push, right? And from 2 yards out, they're not giving it to DeAndre Swift. They're giving it to Jalen Hurts. He had two of them last week.
He does squat 700 pounds, so whatever the number is.
Yes.
2,000 pounds.
At number six, Lamar Jackson going up against San Francisco. You know what? His wide receiver core is going to be a little bit banged up this week. Zay Flowers with a foot injury. Odell Beckham dealing with some injury issues this week. I do expect both of those guys to play. Isaiah Likely, he's looked like he's been a key. He's looked like he's been a number one threat for Lamar Jackson in the last couple of weeks since Mark Andrews has been out the picture. So Lamar Jackson definitely has some top 10 value this week against San Francisco, especially with his feet as well. And I expect him to use a lot of his feet since they will be getting a lot of pressure on him with Bosa and Chase Young. At number 7, I got Tua Tagovailoa. 8, Jared Goff. 9, Jordan Love. Yes, I do like Jordan Love against the Carolina Panthers. Real woeful defense. I don't that team is pretty much looking. At this point, it doesn't need. They should wins would benefit them for momentum next year since they're not going to have the number 1 pick. So they should come out here and play extra hard against Jordan Love. But also, that is a terrible defense. And Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers have to get out the snide this week. I like Jordan Love to have a pretty good game against Carolina. At number 10, Brock Purdy. Yes, I mean, he's sliding down tremendously this week just because of the defense that he's playing. The Baltimore Ravens defense is pretty for real. I expect him, Debo, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, that passing game to slow it down a little bit. I expect them to try and run the football a little bit more against that team. But it's going to be tough in the red zone. That is one of the best red zone defenses in the league. On the outside looking in, I got Kyler Murray going against Chicago. Number 2, I got Matthew Stafford. At 3, I got Russell Wilson going up against the New England Patriots. And if you're looking for an option in FanDuel, I like Aiden O'Connell this week at 6,500 going up against Kansas City. He threw for 4 touchdowns against the against the Chargers. And so,
I gotta be. I would roll the dice on Aiden O'Connell. But that's.
I'm riding with Aiden O'Connell this week. If Aiden O'Connell, look, the Vegas Raiders, they play very hard, no matter who's out there against the Chiefs in the last 2 years. They always play the Chiefs pretty hard.
That's true.
So I like Aiden O'Connell to have an okay game, not a 4 touchdown type of game. I like for him to have a couple touchdowns, maybe a rushing touchdown.
I would almost rather start whoever is going to be the quarterback for the Giants over Aiden O'Connell this week.
That's going to be Tommy DeVito.
Well, that's what I'd rather go with. Moving on from the quarterbacks, let's talk about them rock toters. Let's talk about them running backs.
They're going against the Eagles, by the way. So that's,
I know.
Yeah. So anyways,
running backs.
Running backs, Kyron Williams. Yes, I like Kyron Williams this week. He had a pretty damn good week last weekend going against New Orleans. I like him this week. And number 2, Christian McCaffrey. It's going to be tough sledding in the red zone, but I do like him out of the backfield, catching the football as well. Has a lot of value there. Number 3, Rachaad White, who gashed my Green Bay Packers last week for 2 touchdowns. Just did anything and everything. against the Packers. At number 4, Alvin Kamara. 5, Jahmyr Gibbs, who's looking pretty much like the number 1 running back in Detroit. They're not splitting as many carries as with David Montgomery. Well, they are kind of, but I think he's getting a little bit more of the bulk of the carries, especially down the stretch, and especially
especially in PPR
downs.
format. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is the running back you want in Detroit in PPR scoring for sure.
James Cook going up against the Chargers. Yes.
You see where I got James Cook
play right there. I see where you got James Cook at number 1. I see where you got him. At number 7, I got Raheem Mostert. 8, Tony Pollard. 9, Joe Mixon. And then rounding my top 10, I got Derrick Henry. And then on my outside looking in, I got Bijan Robinson. Isaiah Pacheco going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. And I got Breece Money Hall, who, going up against Washington, who had a pretty good week in their last win for the Jets. So Breece Money Hall could be a potential top 10 running back this week.
Breece Lightning Hall.
I'm calling him money because you know what? He knocked me out the playoffs last week of the season. So that man is money. For Breece Lightning Hall, Money Hall, however you want to talk about his nickname. Anyways, Jerick McKinnon at 5,100 in FanDuel. He had a passing touchdown and a catching, and I think it was. I don't know if he was a rushing.
I think he threw a touchdown. I think he threw
a touchdown and he caught a touchdown. I think.
Yeah, he didn't have a rushing touchdown. He almost had the trifecta.
He didn't have a rushing touchdown. Well, anyways, Jerick McKinnon, Isaiah Pacheco coming back. Yes, we already know he's going to be the workhorse guy. That's just going to put Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of the whole mix. But Jerick McKinnon in the red zone, they're going to start using him a lot more. And if it's good for them, because everybody else, Kadarius Toney can't catch the ball. Nobody can catch the ball. Well, might as well give it a Jerick McKinnon and Travis Kelce in the red zone because that's what it looks like. So Jerick McKinnon is actually playing that kind of like that James White role that. Yep. That James White played for the New England Patriots, a few years back, right? During their Super Bowl runs. So
the Patriots had like that type of running back every year. It seemed like
every year. So Jerick McKinnon is a guy that Andy Reid can really get creative with in the red zone. I like him for 5,100 this week.
Moving over from your Rock Toters to mine, I got James Cook at number 1. Going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, I just think he's going to have a monster game, and I think the Buffalo kind of sees the recipe to success there. Just continue to feed the rock to James Cook. Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen didn't even throw for 100 yards last week. 2, Raheem Mostert, quietly as a cat, leads the NFL in touchdowns this year. 3, Chris McCaffrey. He's just been awesome this season. Probably should be the MVP, but I think that's a conversation for a whole nother time. 4, Alvin Kamara. As long as it's in PPR scoring, his value is always kind of high. 5, Rachaad White, who's been really good this season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 6, Kyron Williams, who once he's come back from injury, he's just been unstoppable for the Los Angeles Rams. 7, Jahmyr Gibbs. 8, Tony Pollard. 9, Travis Etienne Jr. 10, the returning Aaron Jones. I think that this is his opportunity to really get back off the schneid, have a big game against the Carolina Panthers. And then on the outside looking in, I got the king, Derrick Henry, looking to bounce back off one of his worst performances as a pro. To Bijan Robinson, another man who probably wants to forget about his performance in week number 15, bounced back in a big way in week number 16. And then Kenneth Walker III, who was outstanding on Monday night as a member of the Seattle Seahawks. And then my sneaky and daily, I got Ty Chandler at 5,600, who has become the number 1 back there in Minnesota. And Devil Singletary at 5,500, who's also become the number 1 back there in Houston, and expect them to lean on that running game even more with CJ Stroud not playing for them this week. I am a little bit concerned about that, that Cleveland Brown defense, but I think Devin Singletary is going to be the bell cow there for the Houston Texans.
Should be concerned about the Cleveland Brown defense because they're going to have a backup quarterback going in for the Houston Texans.
Well, Dave, I thought
Case Keenum.
It might be your boy Davis Mills.
The neck, yeah. No, I think it's going to be Case Keenum, and yes, whatever that means. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's pretty much with when you go against the Cleveland Browns, it's like, man, the Cleveland Browns have been so lucky this year.
That's
So
true.
lucky. I mean, they
Yeah.
have faced nothing but backup quarterbacks and low string quarter. Like, it's just been so lucky. I can't believe they're still in the playoff picture, and it's because of their defense. But I would say that this is yes. I would Devin Singletary, we're gonna hitch his value to Case Keenum's. However Case Keenum is playing, I think Devin Singletary, should
Totally
play.
agree with you on that. Moving on from the Rock Toters, let's call about them pass catchers. Let's start with the wide receivers. And my number one is Tyreek Hill. There is an asterisk next to his name because if he does not play, I obviously would not have him at number one, but I fully expect him to play, and I expect him to because I expect him to try to bounce back off of what missed 2 games with injury, or missed 1 game and then part of another. 2, Mike Evans has just been consistent, super consistent this season. The Sun God, Amon-Ra St. Brown, going up against the Minnesota Vikings, should have a massive game. 4, DJ Moore. 5, AJ Brown. 6, CeeDee Lamb. 7, Cooper freaking Kupp. I think teams might want to get the memo. Hey, this guy won a Triple Crown 3 years ago. You may want to guard him. I don't know. Commanders, you may want to get that memo, just saying. Stephon Diggs, yeah, hasn't been used as much there in Buffalo. I'm interested to see what his usage will be like in a game where I expect Buffalo to get up early and then run the clock. So we'll see what his value ends up being, but he's still my top 10. Justin Jefferson. Just Nick Mullins is just not doing it for me at the quarterback position. 10, DK Metcalf. I don't care who the quarterback is for the Seattle Seahawks. He's just been he's been good this season when he keeps his head on straight. And then outside looking in, I got Amari Cooper, who has a good rapport with Wacko for Flacco, Joe Flacco, and then Devontae Adams.
Wacko for Flacco.
Devontae Adams, who just has a good rapport there with Aiden O'Connell. The target share is there, and then Rashee Rice, who has emerged as one of the guys who's going to get some votes for Offensive Rookie of the Year. And then my sneaky and daily is Jackson Smith and Jigba at 4,500, and Jonathan Wingo at 3,600, the wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers, going up against your Green Bay Packers.
Yes. Yeah, man, I like Rashee Rice, man. I think he's the more consistent wide receiver, probably the most consistent wide receiver that Patrick Mahomes has. Everyone else seems to not. Yeah, everyone seems to just not to be not. Everybody seems to not know how to catch the football down there, except for him and Travis Kelce. Also interesting story is that Rashee Rice, the reason why he's on Kansas City is because Patrick Mahomes worked out with him preseason to get ready for the upcoming season, and he was like, "Hey, you might want to check this guy out." So it's worked out for the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, and number one, CeeDee Lamb is my number one wide receiver this week, going up against the Miami Dolphins. I know they're going to be in Miami. Interesting fact did you know this about Miami Stadium is that on the opposing side of Miami Stadium, it's much hotter than their side of the field because of the way the sun is positioned and all of that good stuff. It's not going to matter because CeeDee Lamb is going to have himself a hell of a game versus the Miami Dolphins. At number 2, Tyreek Hill. I do agree with you. There's nobody in the league that can stop Tyreek Hill. He just has, gets a crazy amount of targets from Tua, but he is a little banged up there. What is it, an ankle or
ankle?
It's an ankle injury. At number 3, and he wears such low shoes, right? Have you never noticed his shoes are super like low top? So he makes
probably allows him to cut quicker on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, in and out his cuts. He may have some tape, and with all the medicine and sports medicine, I think he'll be fine. At number 3, AJ Brown, man. I anticipate AJ Brown to have I know he had that one streak where he had 5 games of 125 yards straight and like a touchdown, and then he just cooled off. So I expect him to get right back on track here.
No better remedy for bad football performances than the New York Football Giants.
Yeah. If you're looking to get back on track, it's the New York Giants. But I mean, fuck, man.
Unless you're
ask me about that. Yeah, ask me about that. We didn't get back on track against them, you asshole. Anyways, at number 4, Stephon Diggs going up against the Los Angeles Chargers. Yes. That defense sucks. At number 5, I'm on Ross St. Brown. They're going against the Minnesota Vikings this week, right? Big division game.
Correct.
So I'm on Ross St. Brown.
Detroit needs to win this game in order to clinch the division.
Yeah. I'm on Ross St. Brown. Should get back on track. I would not back on track, but should have a good game.
Continue to be on
Minnesota.
track.
Yeah, continue to be on track. He's always on track. God damn it. Number 6, Justin Jefferson. He needs to get back on track. I don't expect him to really get back on track with whoever.
You got him at 6. I mean, I got
him at 6. I got him at 6 because I expect Nick Mullins to just force feed him down to 2. Maybe he needs to he should get him back on track with having 20 targets thrown his way. So yeah, at number 7, I got Mike Evans. 8, DJ Moore is a top 10 fantasy wide receiver this week. Since Justin Fields has gotten back, DJ Moore has been pretty darn good. At number 9, Cooper Kupp. Then rounding out my top 10, I have Puka Nacua going up against the New Orleans Saints. If you go to the next slide, David. And I'm outside looking in. I got Deebo Samuel, Rashee Rice, and Jalen Waddle. Yeah, Deebo Samuel has been on a tear the last few weeks. A tear. But I do not expect him to be on a tear against this defense.
I don't expect him to have 4 touchdowns in this game, or six touchdowns in the last 3 games for Deebo Samuel.
So fantasy owners, temper your expectations for Deebo Samuel this week. And then Rashee Rice and Jalen Waddle on my outside looking in. I mean Jalen Waddle. He probably wishes to not have Tyreek Hill in the lineup all the time because he had himself a hell of a game. Or he has games, really good games when Tyreek Hill is not in the game. And then my sneaky option in FanDuel is Rashad Bateman at 5,100. If neither of those guys, Zay Flowers or Odell Beckham Jr., cannot go, I know Rashad Bateman only has 1 touchdown on the season. But if neither one of those guys can't go, he did have 6 targets last week. So he was 3 of 6 last week. And I like the uptick in usage for him with Lamar. And like I said, if Zay Flowers, which I think Zay Flowers is on track to go, but if like OBJ can't go this week, look for Rashad Bateman to have, get some more of those targets thrown his way from Lamar Jackson.
Moving on from your wide receivers, let's talk about them bulkier pass catchers and tight ends. Let's go with your tight end first.
Number 1, Travis Kelce going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Man, he always has a great game against all his division rivals. And number 2, Sam Laporta. Number 3, TJ Hawkinson. 4, David Njoku, who has put in an all-pro tight end season this year, and it's been so impressive because he has had 3 different. How many different starting quarterbacks? He's had 3 or 4 different starting quarterbacks.
4.
Throw him the rock this year, and he has been. I think it has been 4 because he's had Deshaun Watson, he had PJ Watson, he's had DTR, he's had Joe Flacco.
Tucker,
He said PJ. Who's it? PJ
Walker.
PJ Walker. Yeah. No, I said PJ. Did I say PJ Washington? It's like I'm all on basketball right now. I'm in basketball mode.
PJ Tucker is throwing touchdowns.
PJ Tucker, I would expect to. PJ Tucker ain't doing jack shit wherever the hell he's at. So, anyways. David Njoku has been great with 4 different starting quarterbacks. So he's top 5 this week. At number 5, Trey McBride, who has undoubtedly been Kyler Murray's number 1 option in the passing game. At number 6, I got Evan Ingram, who has just been a top 10 tight end, as consistent as they come. At number 7, George Kittle going up against the Baltimore Ravens. I don't expect George Kittle. I mean, if he gets 40, 50 yards, that's a top 10 tight end-esque kind of week. I don't expect him to get in the end zone as that red zone defense is pretty stingy. If he is going to get it in the end zone, it would be probably from 30, 40 yards outside of the red zone. Where Brock Purdy can find him in rhythm on a play action pass or something like that, or some type of bust play. At number 8, I got Isaiah Likely. Who's just been the number 1 target pretty much
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson. At number 9, I got Dalton Kincaid. Well, he's down a little bit. He's going against the San Francisco 49ers. Another tough defense.
He's had a
Number
couple
9,
drops.
Dalton.
He's had a couple drops more than I would expect over the last few weeks. Very catchable footballs that he just hasn't come down with.
Yeah, it's in the end zone, especially. At number 9, Dalton Kincaid, and then round on my top 10, I got Jake Ferguson here, and then I'm outside looking in. I got Dallas Goedert, Cole Kmet, and Taysom Hill. I expect Taysom Hill, to kind of be used in that Swiss Army knife kind of role going up against the Rams. Big game for New Orleans. I mean, they're trying to win the NFC South. There's only a few games left in the season.
It's also a big game when we talk about the wild card. I mean, because the Rams, both those teams are 7-7, and they kind of need one of those teams is going to be a wild card team, depending on probably because of this matchup, however it ends up shaking out.
Yeah, you said the Rams too as well, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Big game. So I expect Taysom Hill to be used in some type of sort of capacity, definitely in the red zone. And then my sneaky option in FanDuel is Cade Otton at 5,200. One thing about Cade Otton, man, I expect him, down the stretch. I mean, he's been a red zone threat going up against Jacksonville. It's a tough task. But that defense really, hasn't really been that great the last couple of weeks. Baker Mayfield has looked pretty on point. I mean, majority of the season, Baker Mayfield hasn't played bad, man. He's been okay. He's been good enough for Tampa to get in the wild card and go into Lambeau and win. I mean, he had 4 touchdowns last week. I mean, golly, man. So I like Cade Otton at 5,200. I expect him to get a touchdown this week against Jacksonville.
Baker Mayfield's has thrown 24 touchdowns, 8 picks this season. He
has been good.
That's pretty good. It's pretty solid. From your tight ends, let's talk about mine. And our number 1 and number 2 guys are exactly the same. Travis Kelce and Sam Laporta. I'm not sure if Sam Laporta is going to get 3 touchdowns in this game, but I would expect him to have a touchdown against the Minnesota Vikings. And then I'm sipping the David Njoku Kool-Aid. I got him at number 3 now. He's slowly risen in my fantasy football rankings all the way up to number 3. 4, Evan Ingram, not a good game against the Baltimore Ravens, but I look for him to bounce back against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 5, TJ Hawkinson, a little lower on him based on the quarterback play. 4, Minnesota. 6, George Kittle. 7, Trey McBride. He's had a solid second year in the National Football League. 8, Cole Kmet. He just seems to be that kind of escape valve guy for Justin Fields. That touchdown that he caught and the throw was sensational on Sunday. 9, Jake Ferguson. Bobby Schultz's cousin, Dalton Schultz, rounded out my top 10. By the way, his catch that he made in that game against Tennessee, where he basically just ripped it from that defender, one of the top 5 catches of the season, probably. And then my outside looking in, I got Dallas Goedert, Isaiah Likely, and for the same reason that Izzy talked about earlier in the show, Taysom Hill rounded out my top 13. And then you'll like this, Tucker Kraft is my sneaky and daily tight end at 3,700 as a member of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, man. You know what? Tucker Kraft. I expect. Honestly, I really expected Matt LaFleur to kind of get some plays in for him in the red zone a little bit more. Ever since Godly, who's the number 1 tight end that went down. The other rookie tight end that went down.
Shoemaker.
Is it Luke Musgrave? And so, when Tucker Kraft, he had that 1 touchdown coming, when he was the number 1 guy, but I expected Matt LaFleur to kind of use him a little bit as a red zone target. Really hasn't been that case in the last, couple weeks. It's been, a lot of Jaden Reed. It's been, some what's his name, Dontavian Wicks. It's
speaking of Jaden Reed, that guy's should get offensive rookie of the year votes. He's been really good for the Packers this year.
Oh yeah, he's been great. So yeah, I expect Tucker Kraft against a pretty bad defense. If this is the week to get a touchdown, it's this week against the Carolina Panthers. So.
And then from their tight ends, let's swing back at the other side of the football on the defense. Let's talk about their rankings when it comes to the defensive side of the football. I got the Buffalo Bills going up against what was the terrible, just an abysmal performance there on Thursday Night Football. Easton Stick and their 5 turnovers, including a woeful pick 6. 2, the Indianapolis Colts. 3, Kansas City Chiefs. 4, Philadelphia Eagles. And 5 is the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mason Rudolph. And then my outside looking in, I got the Green Bay Packers going up against the Panthers. the Broncos taking on the New England Patriots, and the Cleveland Browns taking on the backup quarterback of Case Keenum and the Houston Texans. And they're also my sneaky and daily at 3,400.
Yeah, I like that, man. I like the Cleveland Browns this week as well. I like the Broncos a little bit better this week, though, going up against New England. Yeah, number 1 Buffalo Bills. Yeah, going up against Easton Stick and the Los Angeles Chargers should be just that should be a blowout again. And number 2, I got the New York Jets. Like the New York Jets this week going up against Washington. I expect them to, get Sam Howell into some turnovers.
I do think Jacoby Brissett is going to be the starter
for Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's even better for the New York Jets. At number 3, we got the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the New York Giants. If there's a game that the Philadelphia Eagles defense, if they need them to break, it's this one. The Giants have been playing, with some momentum. They've been playing with some flair.
They got beat Tommy DeVito's they got beat 30-6, like 24-6,
but Tommy DeVito's been, doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He might get some cutlets from mom.
He beat
I expect them to come down a little bit last week.
He beat the Packers, so now he's going to go to the Hall of Fame.
No, but you know what? Look, I expected the Giants to come down from Earth, last week. So, look, division game. We'll see. But I got the Philadelphia Eagles as the top 3 defense. At number 4, we got the Broncos going up against the New England Patriots. Yeah, I expect the Denver Broncos. They're looking to make the playoffs. They need a W this week, going up against New England. I expect that defense to play really well this week. And number 5, the Green Bay Packers going up against the Carolina Panthers. I'm surprised you don't even have them in your damn top 5.
I'm on the outside looking in. I got them on the outside looking in.
No. Don't be disrespectful. They should be in your top 10, David.
I just like the other 5 defenses more. So
do you like the Bengals? You like the Bengals?
They're going against Mason Rudolph and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, come on.
Okay. And then, on my side looking in, I got the Indianapolis Colts, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the San Francisco 49ers going up against the Baltimore Ravens. One of my sticky option FanDuel is the Denver Broncos at 3,500, baby, going up against the New England Patriots. So yeah, I don't expect them to, play with anything left. I honestly, I think, they're probably telling folks to, do your best to lose that game.
Maybe, but I think Bill Belichick.
Let's get a top 5. Let's get a higher pick than what we have already.
And that's been our Week 16 fantasy football rankings. Thank you very much for joining us here on the show. But before we get out of here, like we do on every single show, we're going to try to predict who'll be the number 1 scorer in fantasy in week number 16. You got a guess at who was the number 1 scorer in week number 15?
Was it Deebo Samuel or Kyron Williams?
Neither. Deebo Samuel was not even in the top 15. Kyron Williams was a fringe top 10. Chris McCaffrey was the number 1 player in fantasy this past week in PPR scoring.
He did. He did score. What? How many touchdowns he had? 4?
3 touchdowns.
3.
He had 2 in the air, 1 on the ground. He accounted for 41.7 fantasy points. Rounding out the top 5, James Cook, Jared Goff, Jordan Addison, and Baker Mayfield, as he beat the Green Bay Packers 34-20. But who will be the number 1 scorer in fantasy when this week is all said and done?
Man, when it's all said and done, I'm going to go on a wide receiver route. I'm going to go with I'll go with AJ Brown versus the New York Giants, man. How about that?
I'm going to go Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears against the Arizona Cardinals. I just think that defense is atrocious. And Justin Fields has been excellent over the last few weeks.
I just want to let you know that you're a homer.
I thought they were going to go to the Super Bowl. Remember all that?
No, you're a homer. You're a homer. If I'm a homer, you're a homer too.
We gotta. So Bryce, you got a question on YouTube, but it doesn't appear you're watching the show anymore. This is a couple minutes ago. If you're still on the show, if you go over to YouTube and you type in your question there, I'll go over there and answer it. But I do not see if there's nobody watching on YouTube anymore. So I'm afraid we must have accidentally missed your question. And for Soraya, Coach of the Year, just real quick, who do you think is going to win Coach of the Year?
I
haven't given this even a lick of thought.
Me neither, man. I really haven't. I had D'Amico Ryans at first. Just
I think it'll be John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh is an excellent choice. He's an excellent choice.
I'll take John Harbaugh as the Coach of the Year. But yeah, Bryce, if you should watch this later, if you put your question down there in the YouTube and the comment section, I will swing around and get an answer for it. So thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. I'm David Huppman. Right there is Israel Rivera and Izzy. What do we do here at the Prime, my friend?
We bring the heat, ladies and gentlemen. Bringing the heat. We're winding down football, winding down fantasy football. Guys, I hope you guys have a good week this week.
And Merry Christmas from everyone here at Prime Sports World.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays or Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you happen to celebrate. Hope from all of us here at Prime Sports World, have a safe and happy holiday. We probably won't have another show until next Tuesday, I think, unless you're doing a college football show tomorrow or on Friday.
I'm doing a college football show this Friday with Christian. We were out last week. Christian was a little sick. I was sick as well. And
you just want to say you're wasted.
No. I was literally sick as a dog last week. I didn't hop on Fantasy Football Weekly. I haven't hopped on anything. Pretty much. I think I hopped on the Tuesday show. I don't even know. I can't even remember my days.
You hosted Tuesday show. So
did I host the Tuesday show?
Yeah.
Man, see, look, David. Let me tell you something. Last week I was so drugged out. My days are a blur. My days are a blur. So
I don't remember why I was out of commission. But either way, we'll be back here next week. You all have a very nice Christmas. Happy holidays from everyone here at Prime Sports World. You all have a good night and stay safe. Peace out, brother.